Welcome to the We Are One podcast. I'm Olivia, your host. Each week, I sit down with survivors from the Independent Fundamental Baptist Church to shine light on the abuse, the hypocrisy, and the truth that has existed behind closed doors. These stories matter. These voices matter. And together, we're breaking the silence. Before we begin, please note all individuals discussed in this podcast are presumed innocent until proven guilty in a court of law. Trigger warning. This episode may include descriptions of abuse, trauma, and other sensitive topics. Listener discretion is strongly advised. Now, let's get into today's episode. Welcome back to the We Are On podcast. I'm your host, Olivia. I'm really excited because I have all of the survivors from this past series of the Reclamation Ranch with us. I have Sabrina, I have Rachel, I have Nessa, and I also have Jennifer. And we decided to do this really fun episode because I also have a lot of questions left that I think all of you, if you don't know the answer, then someone else can obviously ping if you know the answer. And just kind of clarify some questions that people may have after watching and listening to the other episodes. To start off, Rachel, in our episode, you kind of talked about how your sister got sent to the ranch and, Miss Trudy didn't really like her. And so you felt like a lot of the built up emotions against your sister was taken out on you. Can you kind of talk about why your sister was sent there or
So she wasn't actually sent there. She was a staff member. Yes, but in their Tennessee home. And her and Trudy bumped heads like nobody's business. And that's ultimately why she left. And then honestly, it was like we were in Florida. My dad had just passed away. They had finished PBI. Josh had moved back to California to start a church with his wife, and Misty didn't know what she wanted to do with her life yet. So Jack Patterson always came to PBI, and he was the big guy in the back, and he would take us to Village Inn after, and I was always Cheeks. But he never knew my dad. And I say that because every church that we went to, and he would have me come give my testimony, he would always say, "Come on, Rachel, come on up here. This girl, I told her daddy before she died that I would take care of her and her sister." I was like, "Bro, you didn't even know my dad you didn't know us till he died." My sister was just a real big people person. So and I think she was looking for free food, just to be honest. So she hit up Jack, she was never like a family person. She always wanted friends. So she was the big, go out with all the people after, the events. And she, her and Jack hit it off. And I believe she actually was the music person then. I'm not really sure.
Miss Rebecca.
What was her name and what year was she there? Because I was in the Tennessee program before Alabama.
So it would have been like 2002 or 2003.
I got there in 03, I believe.
And her name was Miss.
Oh, she was gone before then because we just had Miss Misty.
Yes, and everybody confused my Misty with Misty. But Trudy, remember Nessa, she would even be like, she did not like my sister at all. And I don't know. I mean,
She didn't like my sister either. But she didn't even know my sister.
Yeah. I mean, I don't really know why I was treated the way I was treated, just to be honest, other than I didn't go through anything when I first went there. You know what I mean? They didn't, when
she said you was self-righteous, that's why.
Yes. No, well, yeah, because I didn't understand, why am I here with all these girls that got sent here from probation or you know what I mean? They didn't have to go through my suitcase. My suitcase was IFB'd out. You know what I mean? I didn't have piercings. I didn't wear makeup. I wore dresses down to my ankles. I wore the granny panties. They didn't have to take anything from me. So it wasn't like I needed to be there. I don't know. I got sent there for such a stupid reason. And then to be kind of told all the time, you're so self-righteous.
To tear you down.
Right. Like, you're so self-righteous. And I'm like, how I just don't understand. Like, I
You're
just
here
celebrated
because
my
you're
birthday.
self-righteous. You need to get right with God.
Yeah. And I'm like, I don't understand. I remember Trudy got all in my face one day because I had a meltdown at school, and Miss Nicole had told Trudy that I was being self-righteous because I told her I just didn't understand why I was there. Like, these other girls had like real issues, you know what I mean? Like, not saying I didn't, but like, I was a virgin, you know what I mean? Like, I knew nothing about sex. I didn't cuss. I didn't drink. I didn't smoke. I never kissed a boy. Like, I didn't understand why I was really there. Like, other than my mom couldn't raise me anymore. I was adopted by my half aunt who's 40 years older than me. I look like her half sister who she hated. And after her husband died, that was it. You know what I mean? Like, bye.
They probably didn't have they probably didn't know the reason. So that's probably why they kept saying you were self-righteous.
Right.
Because there are a lot of girls in that school that didn't belong and didn't need to be there. That's not what they needed. And it's
It
not like
was
they
just the
had
parents didn't
it,
want them.
and it was an
Right.
all size one fits plan. It wasn't specified to each individual and what we actually needed. So that's why they gave that blanket shield of self-righteous, because they knew you really didn't need to be there. I mean, it goes back to having all those staff members that were, running with biker gangs and on drugs. And I'm like, why are you oversteering us? I've never even done drugs.
Right.
I've been in the girls' room since I was 11.
I mean, we had Nancy who was getting over Hep C and was cussing us out in the dorm. We had
Rebecca got
ladies with
fired for
children.
testing positive for
For
crack.
crack.
Yep. We had girls that, like, one lady, she was banging another girl in the bunk next to me. You got Trudy banging another girl in her
Yeah.
trailer. And you know what I mean? Like, but yet we're safe. We can't tell our parents what's going on. We're in like jail basically. And we got to go up to everybody and tell them that God is good all the time, girl. And I don't want to go back to the world. Fuck, take me back, bro. You know what I mean? Like, that's what I felt like saying when I left. Like, just take me back to the world, because the Christians chewed me up and spit me out.
Well, and I got a letter recently as I started doing research on the church that I was raised in, and the pastor there was like, who did we follow? Because we followed Ruckman, is who we followed. We worshiped the ground he walked on. He came to our church several times a year, blah, blah, blah. I literally had the pastor's son-in-law, ex-son-in-law, send me a private message and basically say that we were sent to Landmark and to Pensacola and to PBI and place it, and like where you guys were sent to Jack's home, um that we were sent there because the IFB could raise the children better than the parents, and that the parents realized we were better off in the IFB protective umbrella than with our parents. Our parents essentially could not do it on their own without the IFB's rules and guidelines. And I'm sitting here going, you guys did such a great job that my own father molested me and you convinced me that it was my fault. And then my brothers and all of this. And I'm like, yeah, I don't think you guys did a great job. And so this, I'm hearing the same line come through for so many of you girls and boys. You were shipped off because the IFB convinces, and I guarantee you guys could speak to this about Jack, the IFB convinces the parent that they are incapable of handling their children, that the world is out to get their children, and if you don't let them protect your children, the devil's going to get them.
Well, Jen,
Mm-hmm.
when I went home the first year,
Mm-hmm.
I was sent back because I had bad things now that my mom didn't like about me. Like,
Yep.
I could wear makeup at the ranch. I could cuss at the ranch. I could do all these things at the ranch that she never
Said-
allowed me to do. So
Yep.
now I came back and I was hated even more
Yep.
because now they turned you into something we didn't even want you to be.
Worldly.
Go back.
Yep.
Mm.
Yep. Yep. It's messed up.
Yeah. No, I mean, heck, I after speaking with so many other people and that got sent away within like the IFB homes and that background, a lot of them say that their parents either didn't want the trouble, like figuring out what truly is what their child needs, right? They didn't
Yes.
want to go through oh, is it are you struggling in school? Let's find you a tutor. Is it that,
Yeah.
what to the people?
Mental health.
They're
Is it
passing off the
hormonal?
parenting. They're passing off the parenting because they don't know how to parent
Yes.
themselves.
Yep.
And most of the cases with the children that were sent away, it wasn't the kids that needed help. They were a product of their environment. It's the parents that need the help. It's the parents who need
Yes.
the parenting class.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Therapy.
People need
therapy,
children. Yeah.
counseling, change their
Therapy.
ways,
The
be a
IP
better
doesn't believe
parent.
in that.
That's right.
Oh, I know.
Nope.
Oh, I know.
You got
So,
your KJV and your
so
preacher.
place,
That's all you need.
Yes,
so
ma'am.
place
kills
blame
me
on the
though is
child. Place
my
blame on the child and send them
Yeah.
away, and it's
Yes.
their fault.
Well, you're
No
taught from the
accountability.
get-go that children are inherently evil, rebellious, untrustworthy. You have to corporally punish them until you
Bear
beat
the rod, spoil the child.
That's
When,
right. You
which
don't leave
makes no
marks.
sense because the rod is used to guide the sheep. It
ma'am.
is never
Yes,
used to beat the sheep.
No,
It
it is
says,
not.
"Thy rod and thy staff they comfort me." It goes back to these people who can't comprehend, and so they read. No, I'm serious. I'm being dead serious. I'm calling them
Bro,
stupid. They cannot
I've
comprehend English, so
You're
they read
correct.
this shit and then they misinterpret it, and then
Yes.
they go with this
They
shit, and
cherry
then
pick.
yes.
I have literally heard people preach messages, and Nessa, you know you've heard this, where they said that God left the 99 for the one, but when he got that sheep, he had to break his leg so that he would
Yes.
stay
Yes.
with the fold.
Yes. Yes.
It's
And that,
nowhere in the
Putting them
Bible.
into submission.
It's literally
right,
nowhere in the Bible.
right. And that's what they were doing to us. It was break their leg, keep them
Yes.
there.
They
Yes.
The
teach
girl
you
runs away,
so you
give
will
them
no
a steak
longer
for
question.
somebody else to, you know what I mean? Like if a girl ran away at the girls' home,
They
if
beat
somebody
you.
caught him, they went out to steak dinner.
Yeah.
Are you
Like,
serious?
oh
Yeah.
yeah. And that was a huge deal because we never left like ranch property except for
Right.
church.
shit never got no steak.
Yeah.
No.
You're
Hey,
lucky
We
to
got
get something
chicken.
besides
oh,
chicken.
wait. Nissa got a chicken phobia. Okay,
I hate chicken.
well, she shared this in her episode. She had a chicken phobia, and as she was speaking, it made me almost want to have a chicken phobia. And
I
then,
still do.
yeah, and I
Still
don't
do.
blame you. From everything you've said, I was like, it makes me not want to have chicken, and I wasn't even there. But I do want to ask because I know briefly, in the recording that I did with Nessa and Rachel, we kind of talked about the food, and I think I brought it up with Sabrina too on part one with you about just how when Jack would come, he would bring double cheeseburgers, and he was like the Santa Claus where he was like, nice or whatever. But then if you acted up, like it was going to be worse punishment. And you guys talked about how Karen had sat in the truck bed and watched abuse happen, and Trudy full on being the one to like, I guess, boss and say, hey, you need to do this to this girl, you need to do this. And you guys talked about picking up the rocks and being so thick that they were cutting you, and you had to wear socks over your arms and hands. And as someone who is a visual person, I just like imagine seeing that, and like watching Wayward on Netflix, there was a whole big scene about that, picking up the rocks and like all that, and so it kind of made me think of that. But was there any other, I guess, extreme, and Sabrina, you can also answer this too, extreme abuse where Jack was present? Because that was something that you guys all said either he wasn't present as much
Or
as
Karen.
he should have in the way, and so Trudy did all of the discipline, or like had other girls do it. But do you ever recall a time where Jack was like there and was giving orders out, I guess I should say?
No.
I don't think he was there for orders. So you remember that time, Sabrina, when it was me and you and Shayna and Mandy and Eden, we all ended up getting SWATs. He was there on the property, but he wasn't.
He was in his house.
Yeah, he wasn't in the dorm.
Right.
They
What did we do?
Because me and Mandy just made noise to distract while y'all beat up Eden.
Oh,
Oh,
I shouldn't be smiling.
And then
I had to apologize to Eden. She was like, "It's all good, girl," but
and then you remember that rubber baseball bat we had, the fucking rubber baseball bat, and and I only ended up getting swatted because Miss Rebecca wanted to say some shit about, because we all got stuck in random places. We all got separated all over the place. I think you were in the fucking attic.
Wait,
Um,
hold on. Pause. First off, wait.
Can we ask what the SWATs were?
Okay, so the
like a
squad
giant
team-
fucking paddle.
Paddle. We
Okay,
signed our
paddle,
names
I was
on that.
going to
We
ask
signed
that.
our names on that shit. Remember
Okay.
before we left, we
I was
signed
gonna
our
ask
names
that.
on the paddle like it was a badge of honor.
That's a huge thing within the IFE
Idiots.
It is.
trouble teen. I don't like saying trouble teen industry, but like
Yeah.
that's huge within
It's an
the
IFB because
like
it was
the IFE thing. Yeah, I mean, heck, we had a paddle with our last names engraved
Yes.
on it.
Yes.
My mom never used it. Probably should have, maybe a couple times. But I
Hey,
mean,
my
yeah.
dad beat me until it broke and then said, wait here, I'm gonna make another one and be right back.
That's
Yep.
insane.
All that
But I have a
spanking
question.
gave me
Why
a
were you in
kink.
why were you in the attic? I'm
Yeah.
so confused.
So
about
we
that.
all got
This is bad.
separated because basically the girls got in a fight or whatever, and they beat up this other girl because of the crap she was doing, which they would have had her do. They would have had them beat her up anyway, but I don't know because they did it at the wrong time or fucking
Without
whatever.
their permission.
Who was
Yeah.
having who beat
So
up?
me and Mandy didn't actually do anything. You know, we were
You
off
just sidetracked
making noise.
everybody.
Yeah,
Okay,
basically.
yeah, no, for
So
real. Just
when
like
they all came in there and realized what was happening, they separated us. And I remember I was by my bunk and Sabrina was in like the fucking attic. Somebody was in the bathroom. And then somebody was in another room. Like we were all separated until they could figure out what to do with us, even though there was literally like five of us at the most. Um, and I had a rubber baseball bat that we had found when we were cleaning out the boys' dorm that they were they were building at the time. Fucking rubber baseball bat, and this bitch comes out there. Sorry, whatever. She was a bitch. Who cares? Anyway, Miss Rebecca comes out there and it's like made some slick comment about, oh, Dad better not use it on her. And I was like, I won't if I don't have to.
Miss Rebecca sucked though.
She
Like,
was
on
a
that
fucking
piano.
crackhead.
dude,
be
and
on the
she lived
piano
in
like
some
this?
little trailer on the side of the building because she didn't want to be in the building with the rest of us.
I have to yell.
okay,
at my
I have
cat to mute
so
myself.
many comments. And I know Jennifer, you do. What's your comment, Jennifer?
She's still processing.
No, this is
am.
all I can think of is Sabrina in an attic ready to go. Like
Right? Like I can see her ready to jump.
Okay.
And I'm here for it, Sabrina. When you guys say, I want to touch base on this because I want to be very clear. When you guys say swatted, you guys are teenagers in this home, right?
Yeah.
Like the
Yeah,
We were
like
probably like
16,
16.
No, Jennifer, that does not
17.
matter. That does
who
not
who was doing the swatting?
Trudy.
Like
Okay,
they-
now I do have a question.
yeah.
How did you do it? Only because with Circle of Hope, like they would, like I know like they would talk about like either the girls would hold him down and then boom, boom.
I don't even remember because I
have to,
blocked
like,
all that
bend
out.
over like a little child and like he would do, you know what I mean? So I'm curious, how would Trudy do it?
So I remember that because that was the only time I ever got swatted. I mean, it was inevitable. If we didn't let her do it, we were gonna
They were
get
gonna
jumped.
held down.
So,
I'm
you
sorry, you were
know,
going to get what?
jumped.
By whom?
Other girls or staff.
They
Yeah.
allowed that?
Yes.
They
They-
ordered it.
Yeah, they
Did Karen
encouraged
and
that
Jack
shit.
know about this shit? That's what I
To me, that there's no way they didn't. Like, as much as like
Well,
there's
hold
no
on.
way they didn't. They might
Vanessa.
not have known every single thing, but there's no way they didn't know anything.
Okay,
Well,
so since we're recording this before the episode with Rachel and Nessa comes out, explain what Karen like on the truck bed, that story that you guys talked about. So
Yeah,
then
I would love to. I need to know
Jennifer
this.
can understand also how Karen was there and like she did see it and all that with the truck bed.
So we were it was the first time I ever got rock pile, or it was wood pile back then. They hadn't switched it to rocks yet. It was wood pile and me and Eden got it. I don't even remember what the hell we got it for. Who fucking knows?
Doesn't matter.
But so we're doing it, where you pick up the piece of wood, this big ass like a
Cinder block. It was a
type
cinder.
shit.
It's cinder block with 2 holes.
You would pick it up, carry it to one end of the yard, set it down, pick it back up, carry it to the other end of the yard, set it back down, and just do that for hours, just back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. So it's me and this other girl doing it, and they didn't tell me shit about it. They'll just like do this, like that was it. That was you didn't know when you were getting break, nothing, just do it. So we're out there doing it, me and this other girl, and I'm like, I was getting fucking tired, and I'm like, sitting, like walking, thinking, I'm like, man, I'm about to quit. Like, I can't do this. I'm about to quit. And literally, while I'm thinking about it, the other girl quits first. And they jumped her. Like, they didn't even have to say anything to the other girls. The other girls knew. Jump her. And they just beat the shit out of her. And I was like, bro, that will never be me.
Yeah, please.
And
And I made sure I finished my punishment because I was not about to get jumped.
And then I also showed you the easy way of doing it because do you remember? I showed you the easy way. Yeah, because I was literally the woodpile queen. Like Trudy would often she spanked me, but she would resort to other because like it didn't phase me. I literally have a pain kink now because of it. TMI.
Olivia,
So that woodpile queen.
Yeah, I was woodpile queen. Ask Nissa.
Olivia, what'd you say about Karen knowing?
But
Oh,
Karen was the one
Karen
that switched it from like, because she was like at one point, because there was too many kids that had it at the same time. So I guess they didn't have enough of the big ass
logs
of wood. So she was like, oh, those pieces of wood aren't big enough. They need to carry these big slabs of rock. And it wasn't just like, a
It was
piece of rock. It
slate.
was like pieces of concrete that had been dug up from construction.
And she knew
And it was
about
literally
that.
slitting
She watched
the arm
it.
open.
She
Yeah.
watched it.
She watched it. She was there and even suggested that we use those rocks because the wood was not heavy enough. So
I was actually the first person to ever have to do cinder blocks in Tennessee, by the way. That was all the way back from Tennessee.
yeah, at least you had holes to hold on to.
Yeah,
those
those
rocks
were
were
like-
Girl,
these were like
I almost smashed a girl's
rugged.
face in with one of those because I had 30 minutes left and they put this girl as a leader because I didn't want to be a leader. I always fought that shit, and so I was like, I'm just going to go in there and get me a drink of water. I got 30 minutes left and she's trying to block the way. And I was like, bitch, I will literally smash your face with this rock. And she was scared of me. So she'd let me get my drink because she knew I was dead serious. And did none of the staff deal with me because they could not handle me because I was literally like violent, like I'll beat your fucking face in. And so they had to wait for Trudy to get back from Walmart. I'm sorry, I'm laughing, but they had to wait for Trudy to get back from Walmart because nobody handled me because I would fuck you up.
So okay, so Jennifer, do you need a moment?
No.
I know it's hard.
That was literally the day they told me
what happened is your fault.
No,
that was literally the day that they told me I was going to Ohio.
Like, she's realizing truly who her mother was.
Yeah, I don't own that at all. I'm just heartbroken because Rachel, like the thing that you sent me today, the gaslighting and the delusion, and equally it does tie into my story because my mom knows how I felt about Jack and my mom knows how I felt about these teen homes, and I feel very gaslit with the bullshit lines that were fed to me of like, oh, I stayed in the house because I didn't want any part of it because I didn't like how Jack handled things. But now I'm hearing not only did you visually see, not only were you complicit, you stayed fucking silent.
She added to it because it wouldn't have been as bad with just the logs.
And see that,
and the girls that got jumped that had to wear makeup on their faces and stay home from church. She knew about that too. Because Trudy, this is when Bare Minerals makeup first came out, and you had to buy it through QVC. I remember this shit, and Trudy bought it because she wanted it for her rosacea in her face because she's light-skinned redhead. Her face got really red, and she used it on this girl's face after the bruising went down so she could go to church because we had these freaking, those stupid revivals that we had to go through where all the
camp meetings. I had to go to growing up. I had to go to Ruckman's revival 7 nights. Like there was no schoolwork. There was no going to work. I lost my first job because I couldn't miss a Wednesday night service. So like, no, I know that and I know the lies that Jack told in those services because that man has lied to me since the day I met him. If Jack is talking, Jack is lying.
That's what the downfall, he started because when I left, it was the very first one. They started doing a jubilee. The ranch hosted their own jubilee every year, and it was like the first one was the year that I left, where that stupid fucking picture of me and my parents are on stage saying thank you.
Oh yeah.
Anyway, that was the first one, and parents were, I don't know if they invited that many the first year, but parents were always invited for that. And that's where he fucked up at, because that kid was able to tell his parents about him being waterboarded, and
The
she's the
Alabama
one that
story.
called child services on him.
Oh, and I'm the one that got my mom out of Alabama, and it fucked her up that Alabama got raided, and she acted like she knew nothing. But now when I'm sitting and listening, I'm like, you can't live on property and not know something is wrong.
The only way it messed with her is because she couldn't live in her gorgeous house. Like, their place was nice, and when they wanted to show it off, they would invite some of us up for a movie night. Only if you were a special one,
Girl,
or if
yep.
you're doing something right, then that was your privilege.
I was
So,
I was
no.
never one of them.
Neither was I.
I think I got to go once.
Like, how nice are we talking?
Nice.
That's what I want to
Like,
do.
they built it. They built that house.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they built it.
Well,
The Amish
No,
built
It was
the
custom
Amish-
built for
The
Jack.
Amish built it.
yeah, the
Yeah.
But
Amish
they made the little
Yeah.
plan or whatever.
I mean, our school and our dorm were generic, cheap materials. You go up to their house, they had the wooden beams, they had the 16-foot vaulted ceilings, they had this massive ass bed. Everything was decorated. I mean, I do remember one time we had to go clean their house before they came back, so that it was clean for them, so that they could, yeah.
Okay,
Literally.
so Jennifer, you didn't know that about the Alabama house?
No, I never saw it. The house
The
that
school was underneath the house, and we didn't have heat.
I never went there. I had nothing to do with it. The only place that I went is after the property closed down in Alabama. My mom was living in this really dark, creepy house on the property, and Jack wasn't there, and I went to visit her. It was like this little bitty, almost like mobile home-esque, but it was really dark. And I'm very woo-woo intuitive. Like, I feel things very deeply. And that night I couldn't sleep because I swear to God there was evil in that house. And like,
Was it like a house, like a trailer, or was it like a mobile, like, what do you call it? Like a camper?
no, it wasn't the camper. I've been in the camper.
Then that was Trudy's house,
House.
where she molested people at.
Shut up, because that's what I felt. I didn't know who, but because I've been molested a couple of times,
That was Trudy's
I
house.
can feel those, like dark paneling, dark wood paneling.
Yes, that was her place.
And one of the rooms was like burgundy.
Yes.
That was Trudy's house.
Okay. So listen, when I was in that house
Oh my God.
night, all I felt was that I was being watched, and that I felt like there had been evil activity done. The next day I told my mom, I said, I don't know what's been in this house or what has happened, but bad stuff has gone down and I need you out now. And at this point, her and Jack were arguing about like, he wanted to stay in Alabama, she wanted out of there because for whatever reason from after the raid, she was embarrassed and her nerves were shot, she wasn't sleeping. And so I was there and privy to their conversations and arguments of this, and I told Jack, I said, I am taking her out of Alabama. She is never going back. It was Empire, Alabama, right?
Yes.
Mhm.
I was like,
Bagwell
she is
Road.
not to go back. Will not visit her there. And but I am when I say intuitive, guys, I'm very intuitive. And I know it's a gift from God. I just have not tapped
That
into
and, and trauma. Trauma makes
is
us that
trauma.
way. It
Trauma
really
will
is.
but I can, it's weird.
When you're naturally already, and then you're
Yes.
yeah, I feel you, because I'm a Pisces girl, so
Yeah,
I be
not a
feeling all the
Taurus.
feels.
And
That's
I
why we get
remember
along.
taking her, yes. And when we left there, a tornado literally followed us from Alabama through Nashville. Like, I was like, it was like 5 miles behind us. There were tornado warnings the whole
It was
time.
telling you to get the fuck out.
Right?
You're about to
Yes.
be like Dorothy up in the sky, y'all.
Yes, but that's when they went to freaking Michigan and Jack started changing his stories and saying he was going to open all these homes. Now, I will say that Karen has not wanted to open another home, and now I know why.
Probably because their name's tainted.
Oh, well, that and because when you said that she couldn't sleep, and she was like, you know why? Because she knew that the truth was going to come out. Because
Get
again,
a conscience.
Yeah.
Because children grow into adults,
yes.
and
Well,
adults will
saw
talk.
me.
Well, and it's also biblical. We can play the biblical game. Everything that happens in the dark will come to light.
When two
And
or three are gathered in his name.
yeah,
Oh my God. Nissa, do you remember when that girl could not get along with the other girl and they made them wear that shirt or what? Like where it
They
was
had
like,
to wear a shirt together. They had to be inside the same shirt.
and it was a
They get
scripture
along.
verse about where two or more are gathered, there he's in the midst, or like, or where a threefold cord isn't easily broken. That was it. And they had to use that. It was on the back of their shirt. And they had to stay together. I just had to say that. You said that, and it just brought that back to mind.
Like, listen,
Okay.
girls, I have to say this. I don't take it on as my role or responsibility, but as the daughter of Karen. Now, listen, Jack came in my life when I was 28 years old. And unclear to him, he is not Daddy Jack. He is not anything, okay? He has tried for years to get me to say that. I literally had to tell my mom, listen, I was molested by my own father. Don't let him touch me. I don't want to hug him. I don't want. This man is so manipulative. But on behalf of being Karen's biological daughter, I am sorry. Because I got to tell you, I didn't take my sister seriously because I didn't believe that my mom would put her in that situation. And she knows she had favored whatever until she tried to kick Jock in the nuts. But equally, I'm sorry. And I have my own story and my own trauma with her and my own IFB abuse. But what you men and women endured was abuse and was trauma and has fucked your lives up. And the fact that even if she is out of it, she is still complicit by remaining silent and by not apologizing.
And not acknowledging what actually happened.
Not,
Not some blanket ass I'm sorry.
but a real
I'm
genuine.
sorry for, not speaking up, not putting a stop to it,
She
not
didn't
paying
stop my
attention.
dad from molesting me, and I
Yeah.
found out that she knew he was a predator. He went after her sisters.
no,
He went
Jennifer,
after
you're
girls in the
giving
church.
me a lot of ways to get Karen. You're giving me a lot of things in the way of like, you really better. She's not gonna sleep.
No, you have a chance to speak up, and that's why she has not disowned, but has silenced because I texted her before all of this started recording and I said, "Can you tell me why you left me alone in a home with a man that had a pornography problem and a young girl problem? Can you tell me why you turned your back on my sister and sent her to live with him after you knew he molested me? Can you tell me why it was okay, that it was natural that my brothers touched me? Can you tell me why you lied to me for 18 years that this man that abused me was my father, but then made it okay to tell me when you found out he messed with me?"
Ugh.
And instead of answers or apologies, even though she knows that abandonment is my worst fear and silence is my worst fear, and I ended up in a suicide hospital for those things, you chose by choice, knowing my worst fears, you chose to give me the silent treatment.
How old
Bro.
is Karen?
Huh?
How old is Karen?
Now.
I am 49, so Karen will be 70 in February.
Yeah. Okay. So let's talk about that. When she met Jack,
I was 28, so she was 38.
My age now.
Mm-hmm.
Ugh.
So okay, so she was okay. So
Ew.
and from what I remember, right, he was actually legally married to another lady and
Yes.
When they started dating, but that was okay because although
Ruckman,
yes,
get a divorce.
yes,
That's
because
the only group of any type of church that I was ever affiliated in that said that that was okay.
Yep.
No church I was raised in was
Yeah,
divorced
you
okay.
didn't divorce. It didn't matter if your
Oh,
husband
but
beat you,
Ruckman
raped your
okayed it
kids, you just
because
didn't get
Ruckman was
divorced.
divorced multiple times.
3 times.
Even my own IFB church treated my mom like shit. When she finally divorced my dad I grew up with, when it came out that he had abused me, I was told that it was my fault. And I was told if my parents got divorced, it would be my fault. And I was told that I needed to forgive and forget and keep it.
Ugh.
That's
Hey,
how
at
my
least you
grandma
knew.
treated my mother. So the
Yeah.
fact that like your mother and my mother are like almost the same age, I don't understand that because to me that's more of like an old-timey thing where women didn't have as much access to escaping as they.
But see, in the IFB that I grew up in, it was very
But
patriarchal, very the woman stayed no matter what. There are women in the IFB committing suicide left and right because that's what they're
But
being
see, my mom didn't even ever go to church till she met my dad. Never.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, heck, my dad didn't go to like he grew up like going to like a apostolic church as a school, but like never like going. And then like my mom went to different
I
types
need to
of
be real.
denominations with her grandma and stuff like that. So my mom was kind of around there, but like a family friend had invited them to the IFB church. And then when my brother was like 1 or 2, my dad was like on the couch and he asked like, "Why aren't you going to church?" And I kind of like humbled him. And she said like she'll never forget like sitting in that pew and then my dad just walks in and she's like, I almost fell over. And then that's how they got him, sucked him right in. And like, I mean, like it was boom, boom, boom. And like, it was all I've ever known. I was
Yeah.
like born and in the nursery within a, week or whatever, So that's, I mean, but that's, I think it shows too, like the parents who were raised in the IFB and it's just a genuine generational trauma. And then there's some
Mm.
parents that were never raised in the IFB, but they were just looking for help and they were so vulnerable and just like begging for help and thinking that these people were going to help them and they
I
weren't.
don't
And
know
I
if you
think
know
that
this.
I think that Jack Patterson is very good at manipulation and very
He
good at
is,
lying.
and he manipulated Karen. I don't know if you guys know Karen's story. I will give her this. This is not an excuse for her. Hear me well. This is not an excuse. Karen was raised in a very traumatic upbringing, in an alcoholic home, in an abusive home. However, because of my skill sets and what I went through and going through the suicide and the mental health stuff, I had her convinced to seek therapy. I had her convinced to get help. Myself and her best friend made a way for her, not once, not twice, but 3 times to leave Jack.
Mm.
And because the IFB had her so brainwashed and so convinced, and Jack is so good at manipulating, now she is in even deeper and has doubled down
Mm.
to the point that she is shunning her children to protect. And literally, the idea of being married to a pastor was more important to her than leaving and being healthy and getting a job and stepping out. Does that excuse her? Absolutely not. Does it excuse the behavior that she is giving me now and hurting me? No, it's actually doubled down on the trauma that she's caused.
Hurt people hurt people.
Yes, ma'am. But the fact that I was willing to pay for therapy, there was at one point after my wreck, my mom has stayed with me for months on end. And the conversations we had were deep. And I heard the verbal abuse and the gaslighting and the disgustingness that came out of Jack Patterson's mouth to
They
her.
they made it like they was just the happiest fucking couple
That
ever.
couple. Yeah.
He
Oh
is
yeah.
really abusive, y'all.
He's really good at manipulation, not even just with women, but with the church. I mean, think
Yes.
about how
Oh,
much
they love
money
him.
he has grifted.
Yes.
He raised money for Nissa, said he was going to send her to China, didn't do it. Said he was raising money or whatever. Yeah. Raised money for Trudy's house, didn't do that.
That's because he spent that money, love.
Yeah, you know what I mean? There's
What, on that big red truck to fit his big old hind end?
He doesn't even have that truck. And literally he got in that wreck, which is his fault because my son's not was never allowed to ride with him because I saw his driving. This wreck that he got in, once he saw the settlement that I went through after I got rid of his Dave Gibbs whatever, um he was like, "Oh, well, I'm going to go get a settlement now." Like, literally, he's been firing lawyers left and right because he's like, "Oh, well, they want to charge me and I'm a preacher." I'm like, "Dude, I got ran over by a damn semi truck. Like, I was supposed to get a settlement and then equally I spent it on XYZ trying to buy love, and you're over here grifting, trying to blame someone in a car wreck for all of your stuff. And the car wreck was probably 95% sure your fault."
I was
that
just
man's
in a
probably that man's probably not had a real job since when he was selling dope. That was probably like the closest to a real job he's
He
probably ever
really
had.
did that. That's
If he
Yeah,
really, yeah.
I heard he didn't even really do that. That it was like a one-time
his
little
story about
thing.
Jimmy Hoffa changes every single time
Oh yeah, and he loves to throw in like his ties to Judy Giuliani or Rudy Giuliani,
Oh
whoever that
Well,
yeah.
that's
mayor from
probably
New York.
true because Rudy Giuliani's a freaking MAGA. So
Yeah,
that
yeah.
would amaze me.
He
And
he
this
was about it was all about who
in
he
the video.
knows, and that's how he bounced off of people is by
Yeah.
using other people's names to
He
get
almost
ahead.
had me convinced. Like he tried to buy me. This man, right after he told me Jackson was going to be cursed for being black, he wanted me to leave Nashville so he paid off my debt so that I would go move in with my brother. But then the minute his wife started staying with me, he said things about me that I was a rebellious woman, that I was convincing my mom to leave him, that I was
Jezebel, you're a Jezebel. Got the Jezebel
Jezebel.
spirit.
Okay,
Then
so I
have a
have a question.
yeah.
Sorry not to cut you off, but I don't want to like
Oh, thank you.
forget with my ADHD brain. Rachel, Sabrina, and Nessa, when you guys would go to these revivals and when you would be around a lot of churches, for example, I know that you guys were kind of like forbidden to really communicate with anyone or really look at anyone, but what would you say to someone who remembers like you guys going to the church or whatever?
Oh, I actually have someone who follows me. She went to Gloryland. She's one of the Gloryland girls, Nissa Ashley from the Gloryland girls
Wow.
follows me on TikTok. And she heard my story and she was like, "Oh my gosh, they told us that we had a better chance at life and at marriage than you girls. And you've been married for 15 years, Sabrina, and I'm on my second divorce." You know, stuff like that. Like, you know what I mean? And that they had no clue. Like they felt like something was off, but they couldn't really pinpoint it. But they didn't know. Like it was like a whole like we were really good at putting on the show.
I heard one of the parents one time telling this boy, he had to be like 5 years old maybe, that went to the church, and like he asked something about us, and the mom told him that we were kids that didn't have mom and dads.
What? I mean, yeah, because your parents didn't want a parent, but like you still had moms and dads.
Well, hey, my mom moved in my best friend with her and replaced me in our family pictures too with her.
Ew, how sick. That's weird.
So when I came back, it was like,
okay, so since like Sabrina, you said like a lady has reached out, but what would you say to someone who like, okay, for example, say like someone comments on here and it's like, "Oh my gosh, I remember you guys were at this tent revival and you guys look like robots," or whatever like that. What would you say to someone like that where you're like, do you wish they would have spoken up? Do they wish they would have flipped tables or a pew or whatever?
Yeah, I wish someone would have asked. I wish.
Not like we could have told him the
But
truth.
it's not like that. Yeah,
We
it's
didn't
not like
have
we
the
really.
option to say anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But if somebody else would have been like, "Hey, something's not right here," like, let's
We
start
would
sniffing
have
around,
wanted.
see what's
We would
going
have
on.
wanted that. Yeah.
Okay, so I'll go. I'll start. Sabrina, when you found out about the FBI raid, what was your first initial thought?
Thank God.
Rachel, what about you?
Fuck yeah. It's about damn time. Sorry.
It was like a finally it is
Yeah, like it
happening.
finally happened. Like we dreamed of that
Nessa,
as
what about
like,
you?
you know what I mean?
Same.
Like the best dream you could have at the ranch was somebody was coming to save you
Yeah.
from this horrid
That
nightmare.
are you coming
Somebody
back from?
finally knew the truth. Somebody finally found
Yeah.
out and did something about it.
Jennifer, what about you in that position? Like you said, you had went down to Alabama and like wanted to get your mom out. When you got the call about the FBI raid, I'm assuming that Karen called you about it. No? Oh, you found out from
How'd you
Trudy's
find out?
son called me. That's
who?
how I found out. Trudy's son.
Oh,
The girls were on the way to like clean up after the little jubilee or whatever. They had to go clean the church, and they got pulled over by the FBI on the side of the road. And Chris called me freaking the fuck out.
Mm.
Not like he didn't fucking know.
Jennifer, how did you find? Wait, how did you find out?
I'm trying to put all the pieces together. I found out, I believe several weeks later, mom finally called me, but I was not privy to a lot of that. One, because I think because of the shame, maybe. But she did finally reach out and was like, you might hear this on the news, but we got raided. Somebody lied and said that we were abusing kids, blah, blah, blah. And of course, she was like, I'm never here. I don't know what goes on. Jack's never here. He doesn't know what goes on, blah, blah,
They
blah.
covered their own asses
Yes.
with what they
Their
did.
own asses. But equally, like I said, when Jack talks, you just, for someone that's come out of the IFB, I knew he was a charlatan from the jump. I didn't like him from the first time I met him.
I'll be right back.
So when I found out and started doing my own research and found out that there were guns there, that there were handcuffs, all these things, I'm like, there is no way that Jack didn't know. And equally, let's say he didn't know, he's the one that hired these people and
You
did not.
should know.
Hired these people from somebody's back
And think
kitchen,
about
from
that.
somebody, you know what I mean, at a Jubilee, and they don't know nothing about them. They don't have any degree. They need help. And let's put them with a bunch of teenagers.
Yeah. Or they're
Don't tell me that.
or they're ex-drug addicts who used to attend the men's home or the women's home down there in Texas or wherever the frick he's picking them up at. And then they're over here with their higher than mighty because they got off drugs or whatever because of Jesus. And they're over here telling us how to live our lives. And
Yeah,
girl,
that's
don't even.
something I do want to talk about with Jack Patterson because anyone out there can look on his Facebook. It's very public. He has
intentionally.
Yeah, well, he has random videos of him talking to
Women in outside his truck.
Yeah,
they're very old videos. Those videos have been around for so long. And yeah.
Jack Patterson is a recycler.
Yes.
All of us girls, if you went on tour with him by the third church, you already had all the notes for the whole month.
Yes.
Okay? You were
he's
going
recycling old videos to make it look like he's still doing the ministry work.
Yep. But he's not.
He's not.
You cannot be 500 pounds and going out and doing Jesus' work. Okay. You got to walk to do that a little bit.
My question is, when someone sees this, and I'm not saying that people on the street don't deserve to be witnessed and helped. That's not what I'm saying. I just find it weird as hell, okay, personally.
That he's videoing them and putting them on the internet.
And you can tell that they are all uncomfortable in the video. He probably pulled out his phone and said, I'm going to record this. I want you to say XYZ and I will do this for you. Because in the way the videos are, they're all just like what's going on? There was one girl where he had dropped off food. She has food in her hand, but the other girl's like, I don't want to be on. I don't want to be on. And I'll post the video in here. I have no problem. But like the weirdness of it, and everyone's like, amen, amen. I'm like, I just find it weird that a grown man by himself, and you can see him in the mirror, he's by himself, talking
Yes.
to
Mom never went. She always wondered where he was.
Yeah, but I'm saying he always like he's by himself, he's talking to women, and I'm not alluding to anything. I just find it freaking weird given everything in the track rest like the record and history. And then like the only guy video he has is a family member and he misspells his name and also how old he is. So it's like, how well do you know your family, bro?
Jack doesn't have a good memory equally. Few years has developed a lot of dementia style issues, but the man is so narcissistic that he has to rewatch those videos to continually pump himself
Hype them up.
up.
Yeah.
And he finds the most downtrodden who absolutely need food, who absolutely need help. But they need that more than they need you to witness to them. They need actual help.
Yes.
Jack is not helping them to be a genuine help. He's
Yes.
helping them to get body count for salvation because there's never any
Works. Good works.
Not even salvation. I wouldn't even give him that. I would
No.
say body count of ministry so he can get another check from the
Yeah.
churches.
Yes. Look at this is what I'm out here doing, but there's never any follow up with them. There's never any help with them.
No true help. No true help with resources. Let's get
But
you
how
back
do
on
you
your
get
feet.
true help when it's all addicts and people that
Yeah.
need help and
Because
have all
they're
this
not-
trauma
They're-
and
you're
they're all
not
trying to
going
help
to.
people?
Yeah, they're not qualified to do
They're
so.
not
Right.
qualified to do it.
Oh, but guess what? David in the Bible, guys.
God calls.
God calls the unqualified.
He
Qualified and
he
unqualified.
qualifies the called.
Yes.
Well,
Yes.
God called me to call your asses out and to flip some fucking tables. So let's
Yes,
go.
ma'am. Yes,
And I know
ma'am.
they hate me because I done rounded up the troops. I don't care. I have nightmares from what I've done to girls in the program. I have punched my husband in my sleep. I've kicked my daughter's had to wake me up in the middle of the night having nightmares from saying, get off me, stop touching me. Like, it does not go away. My brain does not stop. That's why I'm more productive at night. I work thirds. It just does not shut off. And I can't, within good faith, people say, well, that happened 20 years ago, move on. I can't because this is still happening right now. He's still out there
This is you
grifting.
moving on. This is you healing.
Yeah, he's training more people to do this type of ministry work, grifting, and to prey on other families and churches. And I don't feel like it's fair to the churches or the families to not warn them about somebody who's doing this. If you really truly care about your child, there are other
You
means
really
of ways
truly
of
care
doing
about
it.
your child when they try to kill themselves. You don't leave them with a random pastor in
Pastor.
Iowa.
Yes.
You know what I mean? You sit there and you help them.
Yes.
Okay.
If you notice, his home church doesn't even let him preach. So just keep that in the back of your mind.
Girl, he tried to become a pastor at the church by my house, and that didn't happen.
That didn't work. That's the
My
only church I ever visited. No, that's not true. The one they're at now, I've been to. But I can tell you that they don't let him do much. And there's a reason for that.
So my parents' pastor like went to Hiles Anderson or something with Jack, and that's how they knew each other. That's how I got sent there because he knew Jack from Hiles Anderson.
I feel like Hiles Anderson is like the Illuminati of the IFB. Is it not?
Literally.
Because they hid everything.
But they
Bob Jones.
my parents' church does not associate with Jack at all anymore. Because when I finally started telling my parents the stuff, like I should have asked them one day. I was like, do y'all still like give to him? My mom was like, and she told me some story where my pastor witnessed something that was just like that Jack was doing at a church, and he was like, that's not right, and stopped associating with him then.
Well,
after I came out with my story on Facebook about the truth about the ranch, and people would read our comments, and they would message me in Preble County, the people who went to Gateway, and they were like, did this really happen? Yeah, this really did happen. And you guys really fell for the scam. And, I've had people be like, hey, well, he's asking me for money because they've got businesses. Should I give him money? No, don't give him any money.
No.
There was a guy, actually my husband's best friend dad, who passed away, but he used to run a boys' home in Missouri. Not Missouri. Yeah, Missouri. because they have like no laws.
Yep.
Yeah.
Anyways, he owned like 70 acres of land, and he told us when he went out to eat with us, he said he has watched Jack Patterson have a guy write him a check for $200,000. And I said, wait, where'd the money go? Because we never seen it. There was never an upgrade. I mean, we had
didn't even have
VO5 and
heat
like
at
equate
school.
everything.
We had a little fucking furnace
The
that we had
amount
to
of
light up
money
every
that's
morning
gone
when we
through
got to
that man's
school.
hands. That's all I'm gonna say.
What was it? I'm
So
sorry.
the amount of money that has gone through that man's hands, and no one, not even his wife, knows where it went.
Mm.
Mm.
Mm-mm-mm.
He's gonna answer for this shit, and I can't wait for the day.
Yeah, he is.
I'll say, yeah, I mean,
You know what Kathleen Kubler says? Follow the money.
Yep.
Can't
And
wait for the popcorn at the judgment seat. It's gonna be great.
same.
I was actually really surprised that he recovered from his past
Me and
cancer.
Yeah.
me and you both.
Because there was another guy at the home who was like Jack Patterson's right hand man, and he died from the same cancer.
Who was that?
I was
Greg?
really
Oh, yeah,
surprised
yeah, yeah.
as
Keep
well.
forgetting that happened.
So, when with the whole thing with like the ranches and stuff, and like him promising that, like, I mean, nonstop, definitely on social media, that he's going to obviously build homes and stuff like that. We see as a pattern that he copied and pretty much pasted what Lester Roloff did. Are you guys scared that there's somebody out there that truly loves Jack that will try to recreate?
Mhm.
Yes.
Oh yeah, there's enough people.
Yes.
There's enough people he's still conning.
Yeah.
There's still enough people that don't know and just believe his shit.
They believe it's an easy way to make money.
So Jennifer, I know that you have talked, you have a 4-part series that's out about the hardships with your mom and the risk of losing it all. And I know that you kind of briefly talked about you messaging her and saying, "Hey mom, I want the answers to this. I want the answers to these questions." And I also know that you asked also, did you know any of the abuse? Did you know what was going on? Mom, I want to know. And I know that her silence really was hard for you. And I know for a fact Jack and Karen are 100% going to see all of this, like this whole
Oh,
series.
they are. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm gonna kind of leave the floor up to you. What are some final things you would like to say to your mom and to Daddy Jack?
Oh,
Well, to my mom, I pretty much said it all in my last letter to her, but it was just that, hey, I love you and I want a relationship with you, but equally silence is complicit. Um, that together she and I could be a powerhouse of bringing change and reform. She knows the damage that was done to me at Landmark. She knows the damage that was done to me at Pensacola. She knows the damage that she did to me by abandoning me for 6 years and it leading to suicide and all that. So there's a chance for healing and a chance for hope, but equally there has to be a willingness to say, I'm sorry, and take accountability and help bring truth to light. If I'm honest with you, Olivia, I don't have anything to say to Jack. And here's why: he doesn't listen. He doesn't want to listen. He doesn't want to hear. He is a narcissist. I have listened to his verbal abuse. I have listened to his accusations. I have listened to his lies. I have listened to him be kind to my face and very nasty about me when he didn't know I was listening. He's left my mom in squalor, and has convinced her that they're doing God's work. So I don't have anything for him, but I hope to God that karma's a bitch, because he, like my stepdad and like the people in the IFB and just in Christianity in general that have hurt me and have hurt others, including my sister, including those that are gaslit, there's a time coming and karma's going to pay it back one way or another. And I would rather see my mom on the right side of it. Do I think that's going to happen? I don't. At almost 70 years old, I think the IFB has convinced her that her doing this is loving Jesus. And that's what breaks my heart, is because that's not what the Bible says. That's sad.
No, I mean, and I'm glad that you sent that letter, the letter to her. I'm glad that you did. I know that was so hard, because I know that you know that she was never going to give you the answers that you wanted and deserved. But I'm proud of you, and like the growth, like from the time that you and I and Sabrina had met up in person versus now, like the growth, because back then in September when we met up, everything was still fresh, where you were still trying to figure out little here's and there's, and like, and I don't want to say denial, but you just were like, oh my
yeah,
God.
there was total denial.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And now where you're at now, the growth or whatever, but I'm so proud of you for taking the steps also to heal yourself. And I know it's been very hard for your son too, because he was really close with her, even though there was a lot of disrespect on Jack's part, and the racism that was shown to him is disgusting. And I know that he's hurting, and just, it sucks because, even though I'm not a mom, I take care of kids, and like immediately when they're hurt, you just want to like make sure that they're okay no matter what.
Grandparents can be such a blessing. You know what I mean? To not have that,
sad.
It's sad for him. Like, my heart breaks.
Yeah. And she I will give Karen credit. She is still reaching out to him. But what she does not realize
is the harm.
Is that all he sees is that his mama is broken, and that his nana isn't accepting and owning up to things. And 13-year-olds are not dumb.
Yeah.
And he's heartbroken. He said, Mama, I love her, but I love you more. I want to protect you. And a 13-year-old shouldn't be making those decisions.
And it's sad. And at the end of the day, too, Sabrina, kind of like what you said earlier, how your brain doesn't shut off. This is constantly playing in your head. And I know that we had talked on your episodes, both of them, how you went to a parenting class because there was things, you weren't taught anything, you were like
institutionalized pretty much.
But you were
all the thinking was done for us.
Yeah, you were acting out, and you realized, I don't want to be that mom or whatever. And you actually really had a really good point in your episode where it was like, if parents were to take accountability, apologize, like, hey, I'm sorry for yelling, like I'm just having a bad day or whatever, that will go far in your child's development versus just and
then change the behavior, because it's important for you. This is the thing, children are going to see what you do and repeat what you do more than listen to what comes out your mouth. I need parents to listen, focus, lock in. Okay. There's a parenting class called Triple P Parenting. It's absolutely free. There's no excuses. It easily breaks it down. Okay. So your expectations have to be reasonable. Do not ask more of your child than what you're capable of doing yourself. Okay. So if you can't do it, don't expect your child to do it. Okay. Don't sit there and tell your child not to do drugs, but yet you're in the room shooting up meth. Don't be over there telling your kid not to beat people up, but you're putting hands on your wife and your children at home.
Or don't tell your children to get divorced, and yet your kids find out when they leave the ranch you were married 3 times.
Yeah. You know what I mean? You have to set the example. You are modeling the behavior that you want your children to do. And so unless you're willing to change yourself, I hear it all the time. I'll kill for my kids. I'll die for my kids. But will you change your life for your kids? Will you quit doing drugs? Will you go to therapy? Will you take accountability for your actions? I was a workaholic. Okay. So my kid had this person, that person, this person watching them. And there was no real structure in the home for him. So he really never got disciplined. So then when it was time for him to be disciplined because he was out of hand, my husband would want to spank. And then that would create war in my home because I was anti-spank. So then you got a mom who doesn't follow through and is afraid to punish. And then you got a dad who's, I'm going to whoop your ass because that was his generation. And then it's on the verge of a divorce in our home because husbands come and go. Children are forever. I will never be that woman that chooses a man. Sorry.
Right.
But when, and then when my husband realized, like, oh shit, and I was like, dude, this is your own trauma coming up in you, you know. And it was like, we're going to counseling. If you want to save and work on this marriage, this is what we're having to do. If not, then we need to go so I can fix my kids, because da. Took a parenting class. My husband's working on the things that I'm telling him to do. We don't spank. We do use exercises as punishment, but not to the extent of what was done to us, because my son is in sports. If he messes up in sports, what do they have them do? Run laps. So if you run that math in class, you go and run 10 laps when you get home. And it also builds it up, because I actually do the exercises with him. So when he feels like he can't do it no more in the beginning, I was like, well, mom's doing it with you. I said, you gonna let your 40-year-old fat mom outwork you? Come on. You know, at the time he was like 12. I was like, come on, you know. So now he's like, I'm so glad you had me do those exercises, because we had to throw tires at football practice. He's like, and I was able to just flip them tires like it was nothing. They're like, how could you do that? He's like, well, my mom has me throw a tire in the backyard. He gets angry. I don't want my son punching holes in the wall. You mad? It's okay to be angry, but it's not okay to be physically violent. So he has a 4-wheel tire, and he throws it around in the backyard when he's mad.
Love
Get
it.
all the extra energy out.
Like
You
there's
know?
always, yeah, I always say like there's always right ways around it
Yeah.
that are not
And
abusive.
not everything requires a punishment. You know what I mean? Some things are discussions, because children are learning. It's their first time on the earth too, you know? So they're learning, they're going to mess up, they're going to make mistakes. And when you're just punishing just to be cruel, you're not teaching them anything. You're actually raising the cortisol levels in their brain, and you're damaging them. You're causing and creating harm when you're doing that, because you're just punishing out of, what's the word that I'm looking for? It's almost like sadists, people who enjoy watching other people in pain. And that's not conducive to the child learning and not repeating that same behavior that you expect for them. So, like with my son, if he has an issue, say we go to school and he's not doing his schoolwork, we have a goal chart. This is the behavior. This is what we're going to do. This is the outcome that I want to see. And in so many weeks, you've changed behavior, reward. And that's just, you know, what we do. And it explains that all in the parenting class on children actually thrive when they know they have something to work towards, a goal to work towards.
My parents could
And
have used that class. Shoot, I was getting told you're a
it's
liar, so they
it's
put me on
changed
top of
my
a bookshelf and told
it's
me to
changed my
jump and
life.
trust them and let me fall.
My
To
children,
teach me lying's a sin. So
Let's say
ch-
Rachel, I know your dad died. The dad died, and I know that you are working on your relationship with your mom. Um, and I know that you your mom, you have kids. What are some ways, or what are some things being out of like the home and like that lifestyle? What are some things that you had to work through being a mom, like parenting wise?
girl, everything, yelling, anger, um, but it was really, and it still is. And I'll apologize to my kids. Oh, I'm having a bad day, or I had really traumatic dreams last night, and I'm really struggling today. Um, I went to 2.5 years of therapy because I knew like I couldn't even process like life the right way. Um, because the ranch was like just a small bit of my trauma. Um, so I've had to work on everything from how to be a mom. I mean, I didn't know how to be a mom because my mom wasn't a mom. I mean, my mom went to bed at 7:30 and we put ourselves to bed. Um, you know what I mean? And our dad would put me to bed. Um, so and I say that to just let you allude to what really happened. Um, which is why I didn't want my brother to spank me. Um, whatever. So I paid 2.5 years penance in Reclamation Ranch because I had been molested by my own father. And now my mom wanted me to be subjected to whatever was going to happen. Um, I had to learn a lot. I had to learn boundaries. I had to learn,
How
and
was how was meeting your husband? I know your husband was in the IFB, correct?
we have known each other since I was 2 and he was 7.
How was it for, I guess, because I know a lot of people who listen to my show are married couples that were born and raised in the IFB, and they're trying to break that generational and trying to figure out, and oh, that came up, oh my gosh, I experienced that, and like it's kind of helped them. Like I mean, I have friends who say like every time an episode came out where like they would sit down and listen to it and then like actually regroup, and I like laugh at it only because it's like I can picture people sitting in bed listening to it and like, okay, so how's that?
There's a lot that we have to work on as well. Because we know, also being in the IFB, we never had that taught how to be a couple, even. Because if you were being a couple,
Mm-hmm.
you were either faking it in public, like his dad, and it was all ooey gooey and there was nothing at home, or there was nothing in public and it was all at home, but you were not supposed to know what porn was or sex or anything. I mean, my adopted mom told me she didn't even know how I enjoyed sex because women weren't supposed to want it. So, you know what I mean? Like, that was my raising. So there's on both of our ends a lot of
Drama.
growing and trauma that we've been through, and we've had to grow a lot from it. And I would say when we first got married, it was really, really, really hard. Because he was more, and I would say because my home was a lot more strict, and the ranch, I really struggle with discipline. I still do. Disciplining my children is not easy. And me and him have fought over that many times because I don't think you should ever lay a hand on a child.
I agree.
If you lay a hand on them, I'm gonna lay one on you.
I agree.
So uh we've had to grow through a lot.
Yeah.
um
But I mean, at least you're keeping it real and honest, so then people out there know
Yeah.
know that they're not like you.
Alone.
Yeah,
Rachel, I feel like me and you should talk later, girl. We probably have similar stories.
but what I'm saying is that there's a lot of people on here too that expect, because we were raised to just act like everything is fine. So then when someone comes on my platform and they just spill their whole life out, bad, good,
I'm an open book.
all of it, yeah. But and we know that that's hard. Like I know, like I can hear it in your voice, like how you're trying to navigate, because you don't want to make him look bad,
Yes.
not
Yep.
supportive, why, or what husband. But you're also being authentic and real. Like he has trauma, he has a lot of things because he grew up in the IFB, and I think that a lot of men will appreciate what you're saying, because I know that a lot of men also listen with their wives, or like just in general. Like I grew up in the IFB, and I have a lot of men that will say, look, I grew up in the IFB, but my wife didn't. So it's very hard for me to be XYZ, or
Right.
vice versa. It's we both grew up together, and this we trauma bonded. And so like we don't know how to break that, and so
Yep.
when
That was me and Dustin.
yeah,
He,
when
he
you're
was
on,
Pentecostal.
yeah, yeah, I think you told me that on the phone, and I was like laughing only just because of everything. Nissa, I know that your relationship with like your family, I mean, heck, to be tricked thinking that you're going to your grandparent or grandma's, and then you get dropped off and Miss Trudy is there, and a guy with handcuffs, and you're just thinking, wait, yeah, April Fool's joke, which is awful that you were sent on April Fool's.
Ugh.
Uh, and I know that you're a mom, and I know that you have had a journey of just trying to navigate everything and trying to figure out how to navigate, moving to South Carolina and being told like, you're going to get help and all this stuff. How is it being a mom and trying to explain to your child, because I know she's older, with the things that you went through, and try to explain like why you are who you are?
I don't even know if I know how to answer that question. I mean, she understands more now, and like sometimes I hear her tell like her friends about like, oh, she went to this place and they did all this stuff, and like, cause she went to Trudy's house once, before I found out,
Everything she was doing behind our
yeah,
backs.
yeah,
Yeah.
what she did to a child, um, and like she understands it because one time I told her that I was gonna make her do like a woodpile type exercise. She's like, you can't do that. That's child abuse. I was like, no, the fuck it's not. I was like, child abuse is when you get jumped for not doing it. I was like, the woodpile itself is not.
The things that they did and the way they did it and how long they did it is what made it child
Yeah.
abuse.
In the middle
Um,
of summer, it was like 100
yeah, yeah,
degrees, and we're in
yes.
full.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You can do exercise because like I even talked to like my son's principal is an ex he used to be a what's it called, gym teacher. And so I was talking because even I struggle. I'm like, am I doing the right thing? Because I have trauma. Like, am I being abusive by making my son do push-ups because he cussed at his dad? You know what I mean? But it's better than getting spanked, getting hit, than to get in a fist fight. My son's 14. He's 6'2". My husband's 6'3". They don't need to be brawling. No, you know not to say
Well,
bad
also,
words in
you're
front
like,
of dad. Drop and give me 50. And then he normally is laughing while he's doing the push-ups. And then he's like,
That's
sorry,
awesome.
dad. And then he'll get up and go, sorry, dad. You know what I mean? Because I let him cuss around me. I don't care because I'm mom. Like I'm cool. You can cuss around me. Okay, you want to talk about that kid that was mean to you and you call him a little shit? Okay, here it's safe. Out there, you can't speak like that. You don't cuss around the teachers. Know your audience. Daddy don't like it. Don't cuss around daddy. You know what I mean? Because he's like, you ain't cuss till you're 18. But like we were letting the girl cuss when she was 16. Like, I feel like it's a little bit harder on more on the boy than he is on the girl. So but I was the opposite. I was a
Do
little
you
bit more.
feel like you're harder on your daughter?
Yes,
And
I'm
you are
harder
your.
on my daughter.
See,
Yes.
that's how it is with us too. Like he's harder on him, and I'm
Yeah.
harder on her.
Yep.
Like
Yep.
we have
Yep.
certain expectations, and
yeah.
like
14 to 16 was so rough with her, and she thought I was against her. She wound up telling me that every time she saw the crock pot, she thought I hated her. And I was like, no, it's because I was tired and I didn't want to cook. And it's soup season, girl.
Yeah.
Now we're like best friends, and she tells me everything. You know what I mean? So she tells me all these things that she was doing at 14. I'm like, oh my gosh, I need to put a blocker on everything Hunter has. I didn't know that you could look this, like, she's telling me everything.
Who was I couldn't remember earlier in the message. Did the whoever was texting like on Facebook message, I can't remember who it was, Rachel maybe? Did they ever reply to you?
so. Karen,
Yeah.
she did. So I text her and was like, "Hey, I have my transcripts, and I go to SNHU right now." And I was like, just getting into school, and I said, "Do you have transcripts?" And she was like, "Oh, we have no documentation." I was like, "Hmm." So if I send you a copy of my transcript that I have from like before they got shut down, would you send that to SNHU? It's all right there in the text. Sure, send it. I took a copy of mine because I don't trust nobody, took a copy of mine, sent it to her. And when I took it to the post office, I regret. I was going to put it in a self sealed envelope with the SNHU address on there and everything because I knew that somehow when they got that, they were going to go, "Oh, we don't know where it goes. We don't know the address."
Mm.
I said, "Karen, all you had to do was Google it. SNHU address. It's right there." "Oh, well, I'll do it tomorrow."
That is
Like,
her favorite answer to everything. I'll do it tomorrow.
I'm like, you know what?
Never comes, Karen. She
Yeah, right?
yeah, her name Karen. Like
She is a Karen.
Yeah. Ever since I found out how many congregate care facilities, and it's so much bigger than the IFB and
Yes.
so much bigger than Lester Roloff and, Bethel and all these other programs, it's sickening. Over 500 children have died.
yeah.
Y'all,
Died.
on my way to Nissa's
So
house,
sad.
there's actually signs on the side of the road that says Christian Teen Home off this exit.
Yeah.
And I was like, are you
And there's
kidding?
so many of those that exist that are underground.
Yes.
Like when I say it, there's probably been around over 600,000 programs if you date all the way back to like before Lester Roloff was doing this shit, because this was going on with the handy people with disabilities. This was
Well,
going on with the
LGBTQ.
LGBTQ conversion therapy, the residential boarding schools for Native Americans.
Kind of finish off the episode. I have I guess questions. I know Jennifer, I asked you your question in the way of what would you say. But Nissa, when you see survivors that have been to the ranch and they act like all of you guys are lying, right? And there's probably a lot of people that we can think of right now on comments. What would you say to them? Like, why are you, like, what would you say? Like, why are you diminishing what I went through?
They're delusional. Like,
Yeah.
and specifically one that I know we're all talking about here. She was one of the ones that was punished the most because she was always lying and cheating and up to something. So
Yeah.
she was always getting punished. So the whole I never got punished there. You were the one getting your arm slit every day carrying them rocks.
It's
Like,
they haven't deconstructed from the trauma, the religious trauma, and a lot of that is that religious psychosis that takes over. And it takes a lot more than just therapy. You have to have the right therapist for this. And a lot of people who are suffering after they leave the program and they get addicted into drugs and their life just kind of goes astray, you know what I mean? And then they resort back to that religious thing because that's what they were told was going to fix them in the first place. So they're repeating the same process over and over again, expecting a different result, which is insanity
Insanity.
by definition. But it's a religious psychosis.
and it's also the whole Daddy Jack thing because she was
Yeah.
all into that. That's Daddy
Hmm.
Jack. Like, she's going to defend Daddy Jack because she needs somebody to love her.
Well,
Yeah.
because her mom
And
and dad died. And that's
yeah,
the thing is Jack
Yeah,
really had
Jack
me
is
kind of in on that too. My dad died and I bought into it for years
yeah.
until I was like started putting pieces together like, wait.
Well, it's just like Sabrina, you said, when Trudy would buy you all these gifts, right? And you're like, oh my God, that's love. But in reality, it was grooming tactic.
Yes.
It was manipulation. It was controlment. And like Jack is very good at that also. No wonder every person that he's hired, aka worked for free, was a lunatic or on, should have never been in that position because they were easy to be manipulated.
Yes.
So Jack could say jump and they're gonna be like, how high? And then you have Sabrina and other girls are like, I'm not falling for that. You guys are a bunch of bull crappers. And I'm not, and so like, of course, what do they do? In any IFB church, if you are telling the truth, the first thing they're gonna do is go after your character. They're going to cancel you because that's the quickest way. Instead of acknowledging the truth, they're going to be like, oh, she's wild. She was a horrible teenager.
Make up lies.
She was an alcoholic. Oh, anything to make you look bad. And like Rachel, you
Yeah.
said too on the episode and on today's episode, the first time you went, you were a virgin, you were a goody, you were a good girl. You did all the parts. You didn't have to, yes, ma'am, no, sir, whatever. And what was it? Your dad, Jack lied about your dad. You know what I mean? Like there's so many things that Jack has said and done, and Trudy, and so many people in the IFB, Ruckman, all of them crazy MFers, literally. But that's the thing is, if they can't acknowledge the truth, right? They can't like they're right because in that the one they would criminalize themselves, but two,
Right.
that big one. And two, their ego is so big, right? And also, I think that most of them too believe their lies. I think Jack genuinely
Yes.
like believes his lies. So anything he's saying, oh, it's 100% truth, even if it's all lies. He's gonna ride and ride to the day he dies. It's like at the end of the day, that's what it is. And I don't know. I just often wonder too how many parents thought that they were doing the right thing and how many like kids are so screwed up because of it.
so
Because
I definitely think, like, me and my dad ended up having when I graduated college in 2023, he came down for my graduation, which I'm surprised he even did. But we ended up having like this long ass conversation, and it was really like I really believe that he thought that he was doing what was best for me. But I knew at the same time because of like my older sister who was like, she always made up like insane stories that were like proven to be false, like that somebody raped her. The person didn't even live in the state at the time that she said it happened. Like stuff that was able to prove she was lying. And so I'm like, I can't tell him about this shit because he's just gonna assume I'm lying because of all the shit he's went through with Tegan. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
So I couldn't say
Well, it's
anything to
also
him.
just like too, like I've said, I think on honestly, I can't remember. But I had said too, like there was a part of me who, one, obviously didn't like authority, but two, where it was like I was telling the truth and I was still called a liar. So
Mhm.
I'm gonna do what you're accusing me of.
Mm.
Oh, you want me to be bad? Oh, I'll show you bad.
That was me.
I mean, like, yeah,
That was me.
like you're doing, you're like, damn, you know what I mean? And you're like, I don't know. It's just like, and I feel like that's just a repetitive thing with IFB. And again, at the end of the day, their mission is to control you, to break you down, make you feel like you are less than. Definitely, as women, we are second class.
Yep. I
And
think that this is like just talking about this because I don't know. I don't talk to this about to a lot of people except for people that know about it. Like,
Right, like
but it's really made me realize like how much I was failed prior to even being sent there.
yeah,
yes.
Like the just absolute
What do you feel like you needed
neglect.
what do you feel like you needed instead, Nissa? Like if you really could
Therapy.
place it.
yeah, I mean, I think every single one of us could look back and realize, like, truly how the IFB system really failed our parents, failed us. Just so thankful for all of you guys to come on. You know, I've said this before, and I will always say it. I can come on and do every episode and just talk, and get canceled probably like no other from the IFB. I just can't thank you guys enough, and I am looking forward to doing more things with you guys for advocacy and just talking out. And yeah, and I'm so proud of every single one of you girls. I know it's hard, definitely with everything that's going on in the world right now. It's heavy, but it's so important to talk about these things, even if that means risking it all. The grass is greener on the other side. It's very hard, but it is.
Before we officially close out the Reclamation Ranch series, I want to take a moment to thank the girls who came forward and trusted this space with their stories. Your courage, your honesty, and your willingness to speak, even when it's painful, matters more than you know. The series exists because of you, and your voices deserve to be heard, believed, and respected. I also want to thank every listener who has shown up with love, support, and compassion throughout Season 3 so far. Whether you've shared episodes, sent messages, or simply listened quietly, your support does not go unnoticed. As we continue Season 3, I'll be picking up another important series, focusing on Agape Boarding School. If you are a survivor of Agape, or if you know someone who is and would like to share their story, during the month of February, please contact me at weareonetogether25@gmail.com. Your story matters. You are not alone. And as always, thank you for being a part of the We Are One community.
No chains can hold what we've begun. We are